On episode 2 of Creation Theory, we talk to Jose Shorty Torres. We touch on his career as a fighter, how he sells merchandise to fund his scholarship to keep the youth of Chicago off the streets, how he finds sponsors for his Instagram page, and why he has started a YouTube channel. Shorty has been featured by Ariel Helwani, MMA On Point, and The Luke Thomas Show, just to name a few. He was a double champ in Titan FC who became a UFC fighter, and even Demetrius Johnson said that he was a young fighter worth watching. He's a great friend of the Vodo team, and he has kindly promoted our channel to his followers. Big shout out to Shorty for joining us, and hope you guys enjoy the show. Welcome, episode 2 of Creation Theory, and today we got Jose Shorty Torres! All right, let's learn about this man. What's up, Shorty?
What's up, guys? How you all doing?
Good, good. We got some little intro slides so that we can get to know you. So let's go through some of these.
We're screen recording him, right?
We're screen recording him. Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna find out more about myself right now too.
Maybe. This is well researched stuff.
Yeah, I get punched in the face a lot, so I forget.
Well, we got a picture of you getting punched in the face that you're gonna have to explain. Shorty, you're a champ. What is that like?
It's something I never expected, because I was just doing what my coach told me, and my favorite fighter of all time is Manny Pacquiao. So coming up, I was like, oh, let's try to do something that's different. The small guy beating up the bigger guys, and Manny Pacquiao is the 8th Division World Champion. So for me, when I finally made it to Titan FC with all the fame of being a 2-time world champ as amateur, being the only person to ever do it, and then winning my first world championship at 3-0, then defending it at 4-0. It's like, man, the UFC is still not calling. Let's bump up. Let's do something different. Let's not be the same person that just does the same thing over and over and over again. Let me beat someone notable. So I bumped up and fought for the second belt, won that, defended it, dropped back down. So it's just one of those things that I didn't want to be just a double champ, but I wanted to be a dominant one. I did, and it's something that I look back at now. I was like, damn, I did that. All right.
And you did that like within 2 years or something? I heard like some other interviews about you.
Yeah, I did that in 2 years, and Conor McGregor. So the big comparison was Conor McGregor because he was the first ever like double weight class champ in Cage Warriors. He did that at 14-2. I did it at 5-0, and I defended one belt in the process. So the caliber of guys and how fast I did it was record breaking. So when I did it, I was like, oh, I'm going to the UFC, and just sadly again, I was being signed to a division that was already dying. So if I was any other weight class, I more than likely would have been snatched after the first title defense. But because I was a flyweight, there was definitely some bias there.
Right. Well, you talked about Manny Pacquiao. You're looking like Manny Pacquiao right here with all these belts.
You know what's messed up about that photo? So I went to one of my brother's friends, and he's like, oh, I'm a photographer. Bring all your belts. We'll do a big photo shoot. So, dude, for like 2 hours, we decided to put the belts, hanging them, stacking them, doing all these different things. No professional photos came to be out of that photo shoot. Like, I've never seen one of those photos. And I don't know. I was like, man, I sat down, I laid down. I was like, man, it'd be kind of dope just to take a photo right here. Here, grab my phone. This is technically a picture off my phone, and that was the only thing I got from that photo shoot. Ended up being the best photo. I was like, man, I could have done this at home.
That's a good one. I like how raw it is.
Technically,
This might be something that we should already know, but just for us and for the people that will be watching, how did your time? Because a lot of these bouts, they came from other things like Muay Thai and stuff like that. How did that go along with your time in Titan? Was that consecutive? Were you trying to do multiple things at once? Did you end one era before you began a new one?
So those right there are 10 belts, all from the amateur ranks. And my coach, Master Bob, was just like, hey, when I tell you to fight, you're going to fight. If you're healthy, you're going to fight. So I've had 4 fights in 1 month before. I've had tournaments where I'm doing kickboxing, I'm doing tournaments of Muay Thai. I'm traveling to Brazil for Pan American medals, gold medals in kickboxing. So whatever he said, I pretty much did. And I was just kind of being the student, following the master, just like, okay, hey, you said this, I'm going to go do it. And I don't know where I'm doing something that's different, that's unheard of. I thought I was just listening. I thought everyone was doing it, but I ended up winning all these belts. But by the time I won the second world championship, I was planning on turning pro after the first world championship in MMA. And he's like, no, do your second one and people are going to love you. People are going to want you out. And I was like, fine, whatever. I hated it. Did it again, dominated. And everyone's like, we want to sign you here, want to sign you here. I ended up being signed to Titan FC and, being the first ever double weight class champ.
Nice. I had some screenshots here of you being featured with Ariel, you being featured with the MMA on Point guys, the Luke Thomas show. That's very cool of you. You're getting around. I want to let the
Fans
I'm
know
getting
that.
around. I'm a nice little side chick to everybody, just trying to do my thing.
You're a fun guy. Check him out.
I gotta have my fun. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're a fighter. You're super serious." I'm like, yeah, nah, it's completely opposite.
I love it.
So just so for the people who don't know, they can get Shorty merch at teamshorty.com. And we'll have links and everything at the end of the show as well. But just to shout out your social media links, this is how everybody can find you.
And for people who don't know, actually, if you go back to that Team Shorty link, all my merchandise, so pretty much 100% of the sales, obviously go straight to my account, but 50% of it go to making more stuff, and the other 50% pretty much go to donations. So I've actually been able to sponsor 4 amateur athletes because of all the sales, and I've actually been able to help kids stay in the gym, pretty much paying a monthly fee. So instead of them being out in the streets and going, hey, my dad or my mother can't pay for this, hey, you've been training hard, you've been doing your thing, come on, I'll pay for your month, it's okay. So I'm trying to keep kids off the street and do the things that I wasn't able to do when I was younger, because really my gym, in a sense, saved my life. I was getting involved in gangs, drugs, and my neighborhood's a typical Latino neighborhood to where your parents are already involved in it, so you're probably going to be involved in it too inevitably. So the gym saved my life. It gave me a lot of responsibility, and there's a reason why I got a college education and all these things. So I actually just started last week the Team Shorty Foundation. So pretty much all the sales on teamshorty.com is going to go straight to the Team Shorty Foundation, and eventually I'm going to do scholarships to give back to the community.
That's amazing.
So
None of that money goes to me. None of that money goes to me.
That's cool.
You're from Chicago. You're like natively,
Yeah, I'm born and raised in Chicago.
and like those kids that you're helping, is that like all in the Chicago area right there?
So I live in a small suburb called Cicero, which is kind of like the factory town right next to the city of Chicago, and it's pretty much primarily all Latinos. And again, for me, it's all the Latinos in a sense trying to get out of the neighborhood, but end up being their own neighborhood. So it's just one of those things that if it weren't for the gym, I would have been somewhere completely different. And I know a lot of other people like myself. I go, man, I couldn't afford it. That's why I started so late. It's the same thing with some of these kids. They go, my parents just can't do anything about it. I'm like, let me try to figure out a way to get you guys off the streets and in the gym. I have money, man. I grew up poor. I don't need money to live. As long as I can live comfortably, I'm good. So all the money I'm making when it comes to the shirts, the sales, and stuff like that, I pretty much try my best to give back and give kids a different opportunity in life.
Nice. That's amazing to hear about. And now I want to talk about social media real quick. I guess your biggest channel is Instagram. For us, it's YouTube. And I think you found us on IG, but yeah, that's like our main platform. Yours seems to be Instagram. One thing I wanted to hear from you is, how did you end up growing that channel? Because it's your biggest channel of all. You have about 32,000 fans, like total across all social media, but the bulk of that is Instagram. How have you been able to build like your own audience as a fighter?
For me, it's crazy because in my neighborhood, everyone, and I think this is just the United States compared to all these other countries. Like if you go to Mexico, if somebody becomes a fighter, Mexico goes and follows you. Same thing with Manny Pacquiao in the Philippines. Same thing with Ricky Hatton and boxing in the UK. Like the country goes and follow you, but in the US, no one cares. Everyone's actually trying to stop you or compete with you because I guess we're the land of opportunity. You're taking someone's spot. But for me in my neighborhood, when somebody was making it out, they're like, damn, this guy's actually doing it. I didn't think he was going to do it. Oh, man, maybe I should try. So every time I fight, every time I try to do something or show people that I'm getting hurt or I'm being as realistic as possible, because some of my posts do get dark at times. I go, hey, man, I'm struggling too. I face my own set of demons, but I'm trying to do my thing, and I hope it motivates you too. So more and more people will start following that cause and go, hey, this guy's actually trying to help and give back. He's trying to motivate in some sort of way, and it's really really dope that everyone's like, hey, you should follow this guy's page. He gives some good advice. Hey, you should follow this guy's page because he gives coupons to sponsors and stuff like that. Hey, you should follow this guy. So I'm trying my best to do any little thing to get the more positive type of following. I'm not trying to be a Colby Covington or Conor McGregor where I'm talking smack and people love just what I have to say. Like, hey, that's you, but I just can't do it. I'm too nice of a guy sometimes. Probably super too nice, but hey, that's probably also why I get friends on a lot. Whatever.
Right.
I noticed about your page, one of the things that I like the most is it seems like in your comment section, it really feels like most of the people know you. And that goes along with what you said right now. There are probably a lot of people from the hometown and people that you actually know personally, because a lot of times when I'm going through there, and maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like they're either referencing things or talking to you in a way like, oh, they must know each other, because certain things that they'll say that maybe sound like inside stories or jokes, or the way that they'll relate to you, and it really has a strong sense of community on there because of that. So it really does feel like you had a really strong core group of people follow you, and then I think even when new people come in, they kind of catch on to that sense of community, and it's just really a nice atmosphere on there that you have. It's not like one of those ones where you mentioned where there's a bunch of strangers, they're all talking trash to each other. It's just a bunch of memes. It really feels like a nice atmosphere.
Well, one, I appreciate that. Two, it's really weird looking at you and talking properly compared to obviously the videos that I'm used to seeing you. And three, I really do talk to everybody like I've known them for years. Even if like somebody texts me, like I think we were chatting right before this, like I'm sending memes, I'm sending jokes, like that's literally how I text everyone. I don't know if it doesn't matter to me if I just met you or I've known you for my whole life, which sometimes I might go too far, but that's just how I am. I try to be as realistic as possible. I'm not going to be that big-headed guy. My head's big enough for my small body, so it can't get any bigger for this. So I'm just doing my thing, and I think the biggest thing for social media is you have to be social. Like you can't just post up pictures, maybe give a heart to someone, and then walk away. Like no, people like some type of interaction. They feel good, and the cool thing is. Like for example, I started some amateur highlight videos just for the fun of it. Highlight some of these guys trying to do their thing, and it's notable for them. Even if it's the smallest thing, I'm only getting 100, 200 likes on it because it's not me, but I'm trying to give them a shout out, and they hit me up, message me like, "Dude, that's so awesome that you did this." And I'm just like, "Thanks, like I appreciate that." Like I'm just trying to be cool with you guys, like everyone should be. So I'm not, I'm not like, oh, you can't talk to. Actually, I reply to every single message I get, even if I don't follow you, my message request. Whether it's a heart or a like. If it's negative, obviously, I try my best to keep it out of my life. But yeah, I try to be as social as possible. I think that's why my social media page is not just, oh, you again, I'm not pretty looking. So it's not like they're following me because I got some really explicit pics up there. They're following me because I'm true to my word. And all my followers are pretty loyal. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, and we experienced that with you as well, because I mean, from the very beginning of our back and forth, you were completely open to working with us and helping push our stuff and wearing our merch and stuff. It was unbelievable. I remember every time I would see it, I would come around and show everybody, look, he's wearing it, check it out. And I'd be screenshotting it and showing everybody I knew, look, this guy, he's helping us out. And it was a really awesome thing. And yeah, I mean, whether it's us, other people that you might collab with in one form or another, or just a straight up fan, that interaction and that down to earthness just really means a lot and speaks volumes about the person. So it was really nice to experience ourselves.
I appreciate it. It's funny because I say this in fighting and just in general life. Like we all might be after the same goal, but it just so happens we're on each other's way. MMA. I'm sparring with Sergio Pettis right now. Like technically, when we were both in the UFC, we sparred before, but everyone's like, "Oh, you guys are the youngins. You guys might fight each other." Who cares? We fight each other, then we have to fight each other. We'll separate our camps and think about it that way. But until then, why not help each other get up? And then I don't know, we can all blossom together. So for me, when it comes to trying to collaborate with people, trying to do this, mainly with the fan art and just the videos, like you guys made the awesome video of me, I was sharing the hell out of it, So it really is. It's a cool time because I know that I have a decent sized social media page or a platform to where people will listen to me. So when people really want to get that chance to go out, I really look at their page, I try to research them and go, you know what, let me try to help this guy out, or let me try to help these people out and go, I think they deserve it, or let's see how this goes. Worst comes to worst, I tried.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that you mentioned before was when you get like a negative comment, you may, kind of like ignore it, not do anything with it. One thing that we found from all, what was that?
Hey, I try my best. I'm just like, oh, I want to say some, forget it.
No, well,
Forget it.
because
Here's like a tip that I learned from Vincent. And one thing that Vincent is good at is like coming up with clever replies to every single comment. But we found that when someone leaves a negative comment, like one of them was like, "Oh, you suck, kill yourself," whatever it is. Vincent would reply to it in like a funny way that wasn't like angry at the person. And then inevitably, like every single time, they would reply and be like, "Bro, you're amazing. Oh, love you." And like that was a huge surprise to us.
It's unbelievable how many people will leave the most hateful comments, never expecting you to reply. So then when you do, they're like, "Oh shoot, I got called on this." Hey man, actually, like I'm failing to think of any great examples right now, but there's been so many cases where someone left something like, "Delete your channel, you're awful, I hate you, you're no good," and I'll be like, "Oh, bro, that's messed up. You're just saying that because you like Master Ken, huh?" And then they'll come back and be like, "Oh, dude, you actually replied? Nah, I actually kind of like your videos. You're all right, man." And then it's like, wow.
Well, like when people leave negative stuff, sometimes it's like too negative. I'm just like, hey, I just want to say I appreciate the follow. Thanks for the support. And then I just leave it as that, Because technically, hey, you have to follow my page just to even comment on it. So, but man, I did an interview with Luke Thomas, which was funny because he tried to it's a natural question because I'm fighting in a sense in the Kingdom of Bahrain, and in the Middle East there are certain countries that have human rights issues or whatever the case may be.
Right.
And I believe every country, mainly the States right now, we have our own problems with Trump and whatever the case may be. But he asked a political question. I'm not political whatsoever. So when he asked it, I'm just like, it's a trap. It's like, dude, I honestly, like, I'm going to be as non-biased as possible, but I really don't know much about it. I'm just a fighter trying to do my thing. And then I get a tweet saying, "Oh, Shorty sees a gay guy getting stoned walking down the street." And he goes, "Well, good thing I'm not political." And my manager's like, "Just don't even reply. Just let it go. Let it go." And I'm just like, there's always going to be somebody out there. You already know. Like, there's always going to be somebody out there. So be it.
Wow. Yeah, they're more and more than ever. It's funny that was Luke Thomas?
Yeah, that was, I mean, again, it wasn't him trying to be rude or anything. They're just questions. I don't mind any questions whatsoever, but I am not a political person. So he's like, "What do you believe about Bahrain's political issues with human rights and past history with that?" I'm just like,
yeah, kind of a strange topic. But
it's like, I don't know anything about that, but it sucks to hear. Like, sorry, I'm just not educated enough to give you a proper answer. How about that?
You know what? For your social media stuff, I actually want to talk about YouTube in a bit, but is there any one that you listen to, or is there any like advice you get about like strategy, like what to do?
So I do have a social media team called Beatnik Marketing Group, and they work with TJ Dillashaw, Anthony Pettis, Lomachenko, Terrence Crawford. I mean, I got lucky that I got to like slide in their DMs, and they're helping me out every once in a while, give me a little boost here and there, and they're giving me a lot of tips when it comes to that. It's funny because their main person, the one that they started with, was a dog. And he's called Manny the Friendship. If you guys ever look at it up on Instagram, he's the most famous dog in the world.
What?
Like, the dog is like multiple times surgery and all that stuff because like he makes so much money, and he's a dog. Like, I was like, "Hey man, how much does your dog make?" He goes, "Well, my dog bought me an Audi 8 and it's outside." Yeah, I'm just like, damn, I need a dog like that, like little tips. And the biggest thing is, it's honestly, I think the biggest thing is videos. Just being able to be a little more public. That's why I'm starting to make a little more videos. It might not have as much likes because a lot of people, I guess, watch the video and then they forget to like it. They're like, "Oh, it's a cool video," and then they'll just keep on swiping.
Yeah.
But overall, it gets a bigger reach, and that's really the long-term outcome. So when you finally do post a photo, hopefully that receives more likes in the long run. But like, I'm staying with Jillian Robertson for this fight camp right now, and she can post a photo of her after training in like a UFC sports bra, and she's gonna get thousands of likes. I'm just like, that's no fair. That's no fair. That's not cool. So for ugly gentlemen like me, I always have to like try to work a little harder type of thing. So there's always little quicks and tips, but I think just being as real as possible. Actually, it's my darkest posts. I think I had one after one of my fights where I took a nice headbutt, so I had a nice laceration under my eye, and I had like a blood tear. Well, throughout that fight camp, I was so emotional, like I didn't even want to fight. So after the fight, I just wanted to cry, but the thing is, I'm just like laying on the walkway where everyone's still seeing me, and I'm getting stitched up. And so I'm just like, hold my tears in, hold my tears. So I have like tears in my eye, and then I have a blood tear kind of coming down. And I made a decent inspirational quote about it, but as dark as possible, being as real. And that got the most impact. Actually, when I got knocked out by Alex Perez, I posted a video immediately when I got knocked out saying, hey, shit happens, whatever the case may be, put it up. And that ended up having the most likes. So sometimes people like the realism instead of just phony positivity all the time.
I remember that very vividly because so often you'll see in the lead up fighters talking about, we're going to get it, we're going to do it, we're the next champ, and they're just hyping it up. The fight comes, it doesn't go their way, and you don't hear from them for a while. And you were right on there, and it was like, man, that composure, it was unbelievable, the way that you were just real with everybody, and you could tell that they really appreciated that. That was incredible. Yeah.
Well, it's funny though, because like I appreciate it because I had so many likes, but that's not the photo or video I wanted to have the most likes on. So I was like, God damn it! Like I appreciate you guys following me and supporting me, but just could you have skipped this one? But and that fight camp, man, it's crazy because if we want to transition to like the UFC stuff, I had 2 fights in 45 days. I had 26 pounds in 9 days, and then I had a week and a half break, and then I had 20 days to lose 28 pounds. So I lost 54 pounds in 45 days. I'm a flyweight, So when I went to the Alex Perez fight, and I was in LA when I was communicating with you guys, hoping you guys can come on in, I didn't want to do it. Like I was just like, man, I don't care what happens, blah blah blah. And then I ended up getting knocked out, which is obviously the worst case scenario. And then after, I just posted that video. I was like, whatever, like. Yeah, my fans support me. They want to see, and I'm not going to be that guy that just kind of leaves them hanging. So, it's what happened. Honestly, it taught me a lot.
Yeah, I remember feeling kind of like both of the outings that you had with the UFC, you never got the full fight camp experience, and it almost seemed like you kind of were left to take those to finally get your shot there because they finally opened the door for you. So it's like, I guess I better do them. But it never seemed like you really got the full fair experience of it.
I fought in a sense like a crutch. I fought with the handicap on, and that was the bad thing. Is again, everyone had a full fight camp. Jared Brooks had a full fight camp. Alex Perez had a full fight camp. Both those guys actually denied fights with me earlier in that year. So I was just like, damn. And I've received 9 last-minute calls by the UFC. So the 10th one, I was like, I don't know if they're even going to give me a call back because they were telling me I was the last flyweight to be signed. I just didn't know they were going to cut the division eventually. It was just like the rumor stuff. So, I wish after the Jared Brooks fight that they would have told me this ahead of time, because then I would have opted out of my contract and figured something out better.
Shorty, let's talk YouTube now. So inside Team Shorty, that's the channel name. What's like the strategy behind that, and like why is YouTube important for you right now?
So YouTube, and I definitely got to get back to it because I've been too focused on training. But the biggest thing is when I ended up losing that fight against Alex Perez, it wasn't because of physical. Dude, I took 107 shots before my body finally collapsed. So I know I could take a shot and I know I could fight, so I'm not worried about it. It was the mental aspect leading in there. I was pretty much an empty shell by the time I walked in the cage. And why was that? So I decided to break things down mentally and go, okay, this happened, and all these certain things. So I was like, man, there's so many technique videos out there that everyone, capoeira's working the streets or this or that. I can't compete with that. I can't do it. So I go, let me think about the mental game. Let me try to coach someone and go, man, I wish I would have known this before I stepped in the cage, or I wish I would have done this during training so it would have better prepared me for my fight. Like there's I think one of the videos is self-sabotage. It's like How many people you know self-sabotage themselves? They can be gym warriors, they're amazing in the gym, but then they go into the lights and they freak out. For why? You know you can beat this guy, but you freak out and you do nothing so you get beat up. So I try to give people the inside, feel of things. And it really is more the mental aspect of the game. But actually, fun fact, one of my last videos talking about DJ being traded was one of the reasons why I got released by the UFC. Because,
Uh,
or let me rephrase that, I was the first one to be released by the UFC because I was like speeding up the system. I didn't know this was gonna happen. I was just making accusations. I was like, "Hey, man, it's a great topic. No one's looking at DJ, leaving and all of us being cut. They're just looking at the trade. Like, let me look at the bigger picture." I put it out there. We talked to McMahon, the matchmaker. It's like, no, we're not cutting it. And then the next week they're like, all right, yeah, no, yeah, we are cutting it. And then the following week it's like, here are your release papers. And it's like, oh, you're not even gonna give me a fighting chance. Okay, cool. So it's a bummer, but again, I want to speak the truth. I'm not trying to hide any little things.
Go ahead, Chad.
So you had your experience with the UFC, and now you have the experience of the separation of the UFC and going into another promotion. Now that you've been in the place where you were with something like Titan, of course, wanting to get in the UFC, being there, getting out. Can you say now, reflecting on that time, like it wasn't as great as I thought it would be, or the UFC isn't the end all be all. That's not all there is for. If you're a fighter, you don't have to feel like you're not doing anything until you're there. Or was it great? What was your experience?
I think the only two good things that I got from the UFC is, one, the name. I can literally say that I'm a UFC vet, and that's, people don't even know the sport MMA anymore. They go, you do UFC? I'm like, yeah, I do UFC. So, and the second thing was the cool thing about being in UFC was everything was given to me. They give you like a personal secretary who, oh, you need medicals? All right, I'm going to make all your appointments for you. Oh, you need this? I'm going to make this all for you. It's like, this is awesome. It's like, I don't have to worry about anything, which a fighter, we had for the Jared Brooks fight, I had to do 6 medicals in 9 days, which sucks. And then for California, Alex Perez, they do, I think, 7 or 8 medicals. So you always had someone at your side really helping you and go, okay, you have this MRI appointment, you have this blood test being done this time, and they figure out everything for you. But honestly, like you're saying, it wasn't as good as I expected, and it really taught me a lot in the sport. And go, damn, we're in a sense like soldiers. We're just all expendable. We're all the pawns in the game, and we're not going to make the money unless they're trying to invest in you. And as we could tell, they weren't investing in me. They were just putting me in there, giving me the ultimatum. Hey, if you don't fight August 4th in 20 days, you're probably not going to fight until next year. Well, when's next year? Is it early next year? Is it mid next year? Is it late? So, and the pay isn't great. Like where I'm at now, I'm getting paid double. And the biggest thing is I'm getting more respect from this promotion compared to what I did in UFC. UFC, again, you're just another fighter. You lose, you're out. I only lost once. And I was out. Well, given the unfair share of circumstances. So that's the bad thing. It's like, it might be the biggest promotion in the world, but it doesn't mean it's the best. So, and I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people need to look at, mainly amateurs coming up, is, hey, you need to understand, UFC is great, and that's awesome. You could be a great UFC fighter, but that's long-term. But the only problem is, can you make it long-term? Most people can't. So if you can't make it long term, what's next for you? There's Titan FC, there's LFA, there's Brave, there's ONE FC, there's all these other promotions that are willing just to pay you just as much, if not that much more. Look at Kyoji Horiguchi. He decided to opt out of his contract. Now he's the biggest guy in Japan. Look at Jeremy Kennedy. Jeremy Kennedy was, I think, like 5-1 in the UFC. Now he fights for Brave. And he's, the main event, and he's being, boasted in Saudi Arabia and all these other countries. So it's like, why be big in your own country? You can be big around the world. And for me, I'm fighting the Philippines next.
I think this is a great perspective for you to share because, one, like you were touching on, there's a lot of amateur fighters coming up who, if they don't get into the UFC, they might feel like they've failed. Or if they were in the UFC and then for whatever reason they're out of it, they're going to feel like they're not happy until they somehow get back there, and they spend the rest of their career trying to move back, even though outside of it they can make more money and they can get more respect and more promotions. It's just being tied to that promotion that they're seeking. So you giving this perspective could let them know, really it's that's not all there is to it. And your fans, I mean, me too, I think a lot of people would like to know, yeah, he was in the UFC. I'm a fan of this guy. I like this guy. He's no longer there. Is he cool with that? Like, I'm a Shorty fan. Is he doing good now? I think for more people to hear you say with your own mouth, no, I'm good. I'm getting paid more. I'm getting more respect. Don't worry about me, because I'm sure there are a lot of people wondering that. And it's good to hear that you came out on the other end happier than ever.
Yeah, man, it really is, in a sense, a blessing in disguise, and I'm really trying to show, mainly because I was the first person to be cut, first person to be vocal about being cut, and then really one of the first people to be signed immediately to not just another promotion, but to a better contract, which is the best thing possible. Because usually, if you're a UFC vet, they're going to pay you the same, if not a little less, just to kind of leeway you in. But this one, I'm just getting respected so much more. They go, hey, you're only 26. It's not like you're some UFC veteran that's in his late 30s just trying to fight. And no, you are coming off of one loss. You haven't lost in 33 straight fights until this one. Yeah, no, we will respect you a little bit, but we're going to make you face some hard talent. The guy I'm facing is 11-0, and I believe a jiu-jitsu world champion. So I'm not fighting any slouch. Technically, I'm fighting UFC caliber opponents, if you want to call it that. So that's the crazy thing is, everyone knows UFC, and that's phenomenal. Great job by them. But because I'm fighting a guy people don't know, or I'm in a promotion that people really haven't heard of, doesn't mean it's not big, doesn't mean it's not good. Like, again, I bring up Manny Pacquiao all the time. Manny Pacquiao took a last-minute fight in 2 weeks to come to the States. I ended up knocking out the champ that they literally thought was going to be the champ for years. So it's because you don't know him, because he's from a third world country or an area that really isn't as popular. It doesn't mean there is anyone good. So it really is a good opportunity. So I'm excited.
It's just like K-pop. Everybody's like, what's that? And then it comes over here and it blows up, and it's the biggest thing. So yeah, there's more than just the United States.
What's funny? Vincent's always wanted to be big in Japan.
We've been doing our thing since high school. I always brought up the weirdest thing, like, it'd be kind of nice to just tell my aunt, yeah, I'm real. You don't know it, but I'm real big in Japan. Like, just like a stupid thing, but it's just funny sometimes to think, there's more to it than where we're at right now.
I'm gonna share my screen again, Shorty. I want people to see some of this, some fan art. So when I think of like your social media, one thing that I think about is that you're not really shy, and you're like really happy to share other people's fan art of you. So he's got some drawings here, some Dragon Ball Z stuff. So you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, right? I seen you like wearing some.
Yeah, man, it's cool. So my biggest two shows when I was growing up were Power Rangers and Dragon Ball Z. So when I was younger, those were my biggest things. I always wanted to be a hero. I didn't have the proper role models. My dad and my brother weren't the best role models in the world, and I also needed to know how to defend myself against both of them, whether it was playing for fun or the real thing. So for me, my mom's like, I'm going to put you in karate, because I was just a little ball of energy that I always wanted to play fight. I never wanted to hurt anybody. I just wanted to play fight. And I looked at it as every time I fought, I was fighting for good. So even still today, I look at it a little bit from a different perspective, but my role models were Goku and the White Ranger, Tommy Oliver. It was Tommy Oliver always trying to be the leader, trying to be the role model, and Goku always looking for the challenge, trying to get better. So I use those both in combination to make me hopefully one of the better MMA fighters in the world. And in that process, I've noticed, as I was saying earlier, every time I fight, people in my neighborhood is like, oh, damn, this Shorty's doing it. This Shorty's actually making it somewhere. You're the goofball. I was voted biggest party animal in high school. So people, and I was also our mascot. So it's one of those things that people were like, damn, this kid's actually doing it. Like, this kid never paid attention to class and all these things. But when I graduated high school, I went to college. I was National Honor Society. I ended up graduating with a full ride and pretty much a 3.8 GPA, All-American status for wrestling. That's when I really started to focus. So I go, man, as long as I focus, that's all I had to do. Like, all I had to do is kind of ditch my friends a little bit. and do what I need to do. And I don't know, I'm a straight A student. The people I used to make fun of, now I am, you know? So it's just one of those things that every time I fight, I feel that, or I hope that I'm inspiring someone, mainly, hopefully someone younger, even my age, and go, damn, he's doing it. Well, it's not too late. Let's try. Might as well. And the worst thing about it is a lot of people don't try because they're afraid, which, hey, trust me, I get. I'm afraid every time I go in the cage, too, because I don't want to get knocked out. I don't want to get tapped out. Millions of people are watching me, and they're going to be able to rewatch it. I don't want to be a crazy highlight, which technically I already am for my last fight. It happens. You know, if you do this sport long enough, it's bound to happen. But the biggest thing is, if you don't try, you'll never know. But if you try, you might not make it to the goal, which, you know, technically sucks. So why try? But I say this is the reason why you try. You might not make it to the goal, but if you try, you're going to end up somewhere in the middle, and that's a lot farther than where you originally started. So why not give it a shot? You know, it's an adventure. It's an opportunity. You got to enjoy the journey.
I have to ask you, as far as your influences, were you a fan of the Red Ranger before Tommy came along, and then you transitioned, or you didn't really click with anyone until Tommy joined the group?
I didn't really click with anybody. I mean, everyone was cool. Like, you know, the Black Ranger, the Red Ranger. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And then Tommy came. I was like, damn, this guy's badass. It's like, well, like my favorite wrestler growing up was Stone Cold Steve Austin, which is the complete opposite personality of me. You know, so I think that was kind of the thing when he came in as a Green Ranger. It's like, damn, that's badass. I wish I was that cool. And then he ended up becoming the good guy. I was like, yo, I could be the good guy, you know? So I think that was the biggest thing, which is funny because years later when I was an amateur fighter, that's kind of like when I reached out to you guys. I was like, oh, let me reach out to people, see what happens. In that photo with all the belts, I'm wearing shorts that say Jesus been tapped. Well, little a lot of people know, those shorts are actually owned by Jason Frank, who plays Tommy Oliver, or the Power Ranger, green and white Power Ranger. So he messaged me. He's like, "Hey man, I'll sponsor you. I'll give you you know, some clothes and stuff like that." So when I was in college, he ended up sponsoring me. And then I saw the crazy thing about this picture, which is hilarious. So I never met him. He sent me like $200 worth of free gear, which is awesome because I'm a kid going to college for free, so I'm not working. I don't have any money, so I'm literally wearing the same outfit every day. Like, I'm not even religious, but I'm just like, whatever he tells me, I'm gonna wear it. You know, and people like it. I'm positive, cool. So he comes to Comic-Con in Chicago, or Wizard World, whatever it's called, and everyone's in line. I'm the very first person in line, I believe, at like 8 in the morning. And so I'm sitting there. I have two belts with me. I had my helmet, which I bought, and that helmet was freakishly expensive. But I'm chilling there. He comes in. He goes, "Man, you look familiar." I'm just like, "Dude, I'm wearing your gear. Like, here's some pictures and stuff." And he's like, "Oh, you're Shorty. What's up, man?" And he was real cool. We talked for like 5 minutes, but he had this whole line. He goes, "Hey, how about this? When I'm done, you know, we'll get something to eat. We'll teach a karate class together, and we'll just hang out a little bit." I'm like, "All right, cool. How long do you think that's gonna be?" He goes, "Honestly, I'm signing for 4 hours straight, so you can walk around Wizard World, do whatever, buy some stuff, have your fun." I go, "Oh, I really only came here to see you, so I'm just gonna sit over there." Dude, I sat with my laptop like 30 feet away, just wait at the table for 4 hours, just waiting for him to be done. Because that's all I wanted to see. And plus, I was too poor to afford anything else. So that's all I wanted to see was just him. Then 2 years later, I ended up training down in Houston and seeing my guy. He goes, "Dude, I'm good friends with Jason David Frank. He comes to iFly, which is like the indoor skydiving. He goes, I'm one of the instructors there. I can introduce you and you guys can hang out." Then we ended up hanging out for like 3 hours, just talking smack, having fun. And it was real cool. Like leaning over, talk to like, "Hey, what's up, man?" Like trying to be an actual friend, like not trying to fangirl out. And it was real cool because he speaks so well about a lot of things, and just even business adventures and stuff like that. It is really, really cool to learn from someone that, you know, I was a huge fan of as a child. I still talk to him today. Like he'll send me voice messages because he doesn't like to text. He'll just, you know, just do it on speaker. And so when I play it on my phone, I don't care what he says. He has that just recognizable, you know, Power Ranger voice. So it doesn't matter what he says. I'm just like, "It's him. This is awesome." You know, so he's such a cool guy. And he really is humble as one. He does a lot of smart things, and I'm hoping to do more things with him in the future as well.
Did you ever end up getting to teach that karate class with him?
Yeah, we taught a karate class, and it was funny because I didn't mess up, but I did certain things different than what he did. He's like, oh, you need to shin block this way or do that. And, he does Muay Thai as well and does other things. And because I'm more MMA oriented, that when I did certain things, it was just a little bit different. The stop takedowns, the stop this. He goes, you can do it that way, but I want you guys to do it this way. I'm like, yeah, all right, yeah. So overall, man, it was real cool. He really is just a cool guy, and he's doing so many things right now with YouTube, the Power Rangers video game on the phone, which I'm freakishly obsessed with, and so many other things that like I look at it, I go, man, hopefully I can be big on YouTube. Hopefully I can do this or I can do that. So it's just different ventures.
Nice. Well, there's a stat, and I forget what the stat is. It's either 8 videos or 13 videos. Do you remember? Like most people when they start a YouTube, huh? Okay, most people when they start a YouTube channel, they'll get up to 8 videos and then they stop. And so like if you get past 8 videos, you're already like above 80% of people who like.
I think I'm at like 9. I hate it.
Keep it going. Can you see our screen still?
Yeah, I can see you guys.
Oh, okay. So you can't see the presentation anymore?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna bring it back up because I wanted to show some. You can see it now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk about sponsors next. So, me and Vincent are very impressed by the jaw thing. We see you with this sleep thing, I guess, and like these might be like some older sponsors.
Yeah, I noticed. I was talking to Alex about it because we struggle. We're trying to do this creative thing, and we have a lot of videos and stuff. But I'm not trying to trick anybody. It's tough. Like we're not making big money or anything like that. It's a struggle, and we're doing stuff on the side just to make it possible. We have to do like real jobs. We do client work. So one of the things I was talking to him about is like this guy knows how to talk with these brands because he's always having these sponsored posts, and he just knows how to keep that communication going and keeping the people happy, because we'll try to get things going sometimes. We'll get in touch with people. It just seems like there's so many hoops to go through, or we try to figure out how we're going to work it into our content and still keep that creative element and not just totally sell out. And you seem to really have a good grasp on doing that in a way that doesn't really put anybody off, but you just work it into your everyday life. It seems genuine. Seems like you actually like and use the stuff. We're just wondering, like, how did you get so savvy with all of it?
Well, it's funny because when I was in wrestling in high school, my coaches, and they're older, they're like 60 at the time, they'd go, hey, you're the mayor of Cicero Berwyn, like, which are the 2 towns that are together for my high school. They're like, you're the mayor of Cicero Berwyn. I was like, what are you talking about? They go, all you do when you're not wrestling is go to talk to other teams and just introduce yourself to people and fucking kiss babies and do this and do that. I'm just like, yeah. So anytime when it's a product that I'm interested in, for example, Jazzercise or the Sleep Som, or just things that I believe will help improve my game, I contact them. I ask, hey, do you mind if I get a free sample so I can personally use, because I'm not going to recommend stuff I don't use. And then I take it in, and if I like it, hopefully we can create some type of sponsor deal. Or if not, let me take it in first and go, let me promote it just to show you how much I'm worth. And go, hey, I've gotten you this many sales from the little promo code you gave me that really doesn't even give a discount, or it's 10%, whatever the case may be. Me not asking for any money. And then after that, after maybe 2-3 months, they go, hey, this kid's actually pretty good. Okay, you know what? We will pay him. We will do this, or we'll send him more stuff. Or even, for example, Jazzercise, I ended up working out something with them when I was in Colorado. A lot of the guys were asking me, Jazzercise, what is it? And I was like, hey, can you guys send the kit over? They sent me like 30 Jazzercises, so I pretty much gave it to the whole gym. So I was just like, cool. Like my sponsors respect me because I go above and beyond for them. And for a lot of my sponsors, or a lot of my followers, it's funny because I have best friends since I was a kid, since I was 5th grade. They're like, oh, what are you trying to sell me now? I was like, dude, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just put it on there, and I put a coupon code. I make no money off the coupon code. There's only one sponsor that I make money off of for the coupon code. So I'm literally trying to give you guys discounts. That's all I'm trying to do. So if you want to do it, and you get a coupon. I'm Latino. Who doesn't like coupons? But if you don't want to, it's okay, So I'm not trying to sell people anything, and I don't recommend stuff I don't personally use because my name's behind it too, So like the Jazzercise, I get the same message every single time. Does it really work, dude? I posted it to my page. Like, yes, it works. I'm not gonna post stuff I don't personally use. So it's and then Jazzercise, especially them, they're different. Like everyone's like, oh, the ball gag, it looks gay, it looks this. I'm like, one, what's it matter if it looks gay? Like, what's wrong with being gay? Two, jujitsu and wrestling look gay if you're not educated enough. Like, technically, dude, when I was 10 years old, fifth grade, all my friends would join the wrestling team after football, and they're like, Shorty, come on, join the wrestling team. And my dad's like, at the time, my dad was like extremely homophobic and like on steroids, cocaine, weed. Like he was like the goon in the gang, so he's Mr. Tough Guy. And he's like, what, you want to join wrestling? Is that the one where they wear the spandex? No, man, that's gay. I'm just like, so when I went to my friends, they were like, hey, you gonna join wrestling? I'm like a little parakeet at 10 years old. I'm like, no, that's gay. So I just never did it. So with the jaws exercise, I'm like, guys, as long as you like swallow your pride or whatever the hell you have to do, put it in your mouth and try it. Like chew on it and you'll see. Like don't judge a book by its cover. It's literally the same exact thing as like those hand grip things where you just squeeze so many times eventually your forearm starts to burn. It's the same thing but for your jaw. It's like, Juan, we do all these neck exercises, do all these exercises to work out your body, but we're getting punched in the face. We're getting face cranked. Maybe Conor McGregor could have used a jaw exercise when he faced Khabib. Like you never know. It helps, and it's been helping me a lot. So it really is something different. But all my sponsors, man, if it weren't for them, I wouldn't be able to compete at the high level that I'm at.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Go ahead.
I just thought it was interesting because the point you were making right now. Because I've heard forever you could work this out, you could work that out, but you can't work out the jaw. And then I saw this thing, and I was like, they figured it out. Mm-hmm. Cool, Shorty's showing it to everybody now.
That's it, and it's cool because I have such a big pool. Like I ended up getting cauliflower, which I made a video about it. It sucked. It hurts. Anyways, and it still keeps coming back. And I've had it for about 3 weeks, and I feel really bad because there's a company called ColiCure that has pretty much magnets specifically to your ear. You can wear them under your headgear. I think it's the most amazing design possible. The only problem was I didn't know if I was able to like go to CVS and buy syringes, because you need prescriptions to buy syringes. And so luckily I was able to get some from the gym to drain out my ear. But I'm like, damn, I wish I would have got that, but I feel bad and saying no because I thought my ear was going to harden up by the time. And so I don't feel like calling people back and be like, hey, I'm sorry, can you send that? Yeah, I really need it. So I always feel bad with some sponsors because I had to do that with some people. Or some people were like, hey, we want to sponsor you this long term. It's this much amount of money. I'm just like, I really don't use the product, man. And I'm not gonna recommend it to my people. As much trust me, I love the money. It helped a lot, but I can't do it. Thank you, though. I really appreciate your time. That's it.
So you really hustle to go out and get your sponsors. Do you know, like, is it like most of them get back to you when you want to talk to them about sponsorships, or do some of them just ignore you and you just go out and reach out for more?
So most of them will respond to me because I'll email them on their Instagram page. I'll message them on Instagram, and I'll pretty much try to message every single social media page. I stalk them. And when I post a photo, like for example, Garden Life, they're a big time company. I think they're sponsoring one of the Diaz brothers, So compare me to the Diaz brothers, it's really no comparison right now. So when it comes to trying to sponsor lower level guys, it's more of who you know or what you can do. Well, for me, I really bring out this outline of this is what I believe I can do. This is what I know I can do for sure. And this is the reasons why your product's going to help me. And this is something I'm going to post about when I make my social media posts. And it's real. It's like if I do Garden Life and I go, hey, man, what are the differences between these supplements and that? It's like Garden Life is all natural. And I'm a fighter who, dude, I'm Latino. You eat a tortilla, I get bloated. So I need everything that's plant-based protein. Garden Life does everything for me, So I try to be as experimental but as real as possible at the same times where even the most basic person or most basic educated person can understand.
Let me ask Vincent now. Are you ready to hustle for these sponsorships now?
Well, something that I've learned, a pointer for everyone watching who's trying to start their own business, is another good thing regarding sponsors is to lie about it and act like you have one. Like our Tajín sponsorship. I made that video. That was totally fake.
I was so mad because I was like, You got Tahine? I hit them up before.
So if you want to get some street cred and you want to look like you're coming up in the world, make a fake commercial and tell people that Tahine is sponsoring you. Because what happened was the moment I made that live, I thought we're gonna get sued, but at least we'll get some press out of it. And then Tahine commented, and they thought it was hilarious, and they put a bunch of laughing emojis. And I thought, good, we're in the clear now. We're not gonna have any problems. But I never thought that they would see it, let alone like it.
You hashtag them?
I tagged them in it. Yeah, I did shout out to Tahine for sponsoring us on our last video. I was trying to get their attention, and they liked it. I thought they'd be upset and be like, "Who gave you approval for this?" But I went out when we were gonna make a video that day, and I bought some Tahine, just like the video before. We were sponsored by Tres Flores. This video before that, we were sponsored by Fabuloso, and they were all fake. But I was just trying to see, can we get some exposure out of this? What'll happen? Will people think it's funny?
There's actually like a problem on IG that they're trying to solve, because like there's like some people who like want to be influencers, and they're like doing fake sponsorships. Like they'll do like posts with their makeup and stuff, and like it'll look like a sponsored post.
I would think by now, when we do something like that people would kind of get it, but a lot of people have thought it was real, and they'll say things along the line of "Congratulations, you made it," and I'll feel bad, because then I feel like
I thought one was real. You thought it was real, right?
I thought it was real.
Yeah.
Dude, I was skimming through, and all I see is like a little Tahine commercial. I was just like, because I saw you guys sponsored by Hayabusa, which I thought was dope.
That one was real.
And I was like, oh, cool, that's dope. You guys are showing off a lot of stuff, because it was just back-to-back videos on Hayabusa. And then I saw Tahine, and I was just like, damn, that's awesome. You know, like, because out of all the ones, food, Tahine that'd be dope.
Yeah.
I was thinking for our next one, I was gonna do like Nike, and then people finally be like, "Wait a minute."
No, what? Do you want Tahine to be a sponsor?
That would be cool. I mean, we're in communication with them now. I guess I should follow up.
You the Shorty method.
You're a Latino page. You know, you could pull out some cucumbers, some mangoes, limon, whatever the case may be, and just go from there. But you know, it really is it's trial and error when it comes to sponsorships. So even when, like, for example, my friend Jillian Robertson, I had the sleep song. She's like, man, I really need to sleep, whatever. I go, why don't you try this? She goes, oh, she tried it for 2 days. She's like, this stuff's actually pretty good. Here, there's actually your review. She decided to put on her story, and the next day they commented on her stuff and go, hey, do you want some? We'll send you some. You know, so even if you get stuff for free, it's a nice little window of opportunity, and go, hey, you're giving me stuff for free. I'll promote you for free, and for trade, in a sense, of product for promotion. And then after a month or two of going, hey, you see what I've been able to do with my page or my social media following, do you think we could work something out? And it just goes from there. And I have my own general like fees, but you know, some obviously I charge more for, depending on what they want. And it's such, I hate business. I hate, like, my major in college was kinesiology. Nothing to do with business. You know, so I was like, damn, I hate numbers. I'm too nice of a person where I'm like, can I get this? You know, it's kind of like asking your mom for the groceries. Like, can I do this? Like, you know, it's no, it usually never happens. So sometimes you have to just set out your numbers and see where it goes from there.
That's the worst part about what we do, because it's like we just want to be creative. We just want to be funny. We need like the really boring, mean person to come along and say, okay, you and you, give us money and we'll mention you. We don't want to have, but we have to like kind of take part in that world, because we have a very small group right now. So yeah, we feel you right there. It's not really what we want to do, but I guess we have to force ourselves till we get to that level.
And two things I want to say. One, it is a little weird seeing you without the hat. This is the first time I've seen you.
Oh yeah.
So I just want to say, I was just like, why does it seem? Oh, he's not wearing a hat. And two, one of my goals, since you called me in the video you made for me, as like, oh, us three have been together, like the three ninjas. I'm still planning on flying to LA to do a video with you guys. I don't know, but I'm still doing it.
Oh yeah, when we talked the other day, I was already telling Alex, oh yeah, the same day we do the podcast, we'll do some kind of collab, we'll do a video, and then I realized, wait a minute, I'm thinking ahead. He probably can't even come out this way right now.
So yeah, it's right now, but I'm down with that. That'd be really cool, just for the fun of it. Do a couple of videos and see where it goes from there. Yeah, what's crazy is I used to do choreography for a lot of the film institutes in Chicago. So when the fight scenes would come in, And then you
Wow.
get to like, because I love Jackie Chan growing up, so I used to watch a lot of his homemade videos of like how he uses and manipulates some of the things to like break a guitar. One of the movies that I made, some kid had to break a guitar over my head, and it was supposed to just splatter all over the place. So we decided to do little camera tricks, break the guitar pretty much in the bottom, and when the kid swung the guitar, everyone just kind of pulled strings that were connected with it. So when it hit my elbow, it looked like it hit my head. I just kind of like did this. It just splattered all over the place. And everyone's like, oh, that's awesome. So I do like little fight scenes, or I do scenes where somebody's getting hit by certain objects and, you know, things are exploding. So it really is cool. So you have a little fun, you know?
Well, so a lot goes into that. Don't try to make a video with your friend and just hit him with the guitar then. Like, there's a lot of tricks.
I mean, you could do that. Realism was awesome. But, man, some of the things people do, you're just like, it's not hard, man. Just look up on YouTube. You know, everything, there's technology these days.
You know what we've experienced? There's been times where I'm doing a scene with my... I don't know how far back you've seen of the videos, but we have my primo flaco, who is in my real life my nephew, and we'll have scenes where it'll be like, you know what, we go back, just let me hit you. Like, I'll actually hit him, and then we'll do a take where we did a camera trick, and I didn't get anywhere near him, and that one looks way better than when I actually hit him. So it's very interesting how those things come into play and can make things a lot better. So
it's been pretty dope, man. You just got to mix it up and see where it goes from there.
Yeah.
We're about to do a deep dive on some pictures of yours.
Let's do it. I feel like some dudes are gonna come on the screen like, oh damn.
No, all right, so you can see the presentation again?
Yeah.
All right, me and Vincent are wondering why a fighter is eating all these fatty foods.
So it's funny. I'm not a burger person. Like when it comes to eating someplace, like if it's a cheat meal or whatever, I'm gonna go for tacos. Like that's me. But burgers, I wouldn't say are like my first choice. But anyways, I got invited to a place called Stuffed Graphic Burgers, which both that is from in New Jersey. And I was like, man, I've never had like grass-fed meat before, or even just a grass-fed burger. So I go to this place, and I'm eating it with my nutritionist, and we're eating. I'm just like, dude, this place is awesome. And so I started talking to the guy. He's like, man, yeah, we're brand new. We're trying to eventually start branching out to different places. And I was like, I don't know you, but shut up and take my money, because we'll bring you to Chicago. Like, and I'm 100% invested in this place. Like, I really want to bring that place to Chicago. And then I went back again. Actually, when I found out about this fight, I ate that exact sandwich. And I'm just like, dude, I have to. Like, they make mac and cheese egg rolls. I mean, who does that?
I saw it.
Every single burger is stuffed with whatever you pick. So if you want mac and cheese in your burger, and the patty itself has mac and cheese in it, you know, and it's all grass fed, so it's technically healthier in a sense. But dude, it's a game changer. I was like, man, I need this Chicago, and I keep on telling the guy every day. Like every time he posts, I always text him, I'm gonna bring you. Don't worry, I'm gonna bring you. Like, give me some time. I got you. So, dude, it's amazing. I have to. I'm a fat kid at heart. I'm a heavyweight at heart. Like, it's how it is. It really is. I have an extreme problem.
Is that something that's a regular thing for you? Because there's, you know those guys that are like, yeah, food, yeah, I guess I've been working all day, I kind of forgot about eating. Or are you one of those guys that is like an emotional eater, as in any emotion you have, you're happy, you eat, you're sad, you eat, you're excited, you eat, you're tired? Is it a struggle?
I'm 100%. I got yelled at my nutritionist. I texted him to yell at me because I'm a little heavier in weight than where I usually am at. And I go, man, I'm not even gonna lie to you. You already know I'm an emotional eater. I went home. You know, I had a long conversation on the road. It just wasn't my day. I went home, and my dad's my worst enemy. Doesn't matter if I'm cutting weight or not. He'll pull out a Snickers and be like, hey, you hungry? I'm like, no, I'm good. I can't have that. He'll put it to my face, and no, I can't resist once it's in my face. You know, so I got home, and I was so mad from the conversation I had earlier. I was just like, there's donuts over there. There's some mac and cheese over there. Oh, let's look in the fridge. There's some arroz and gandules. You know, so I pretty much demolished everything that was in my path. And then my nutritionist called me, and I was like, hey, I need you to yell at me. And he gave me, like, I expected this. He gave me this, which was above and beyond. And I had the best practice ever that night. But I was just like, I just wanted to cry. He was just like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, my bad, my bad. But I am 100% an emotional eater. It's bad. That's something I still really need to work on.
All right, all right. Moving on, Shorty. One thing that people don't know about you is you're actually a big deal in the film world. So I wanted to bring out your role as Flacco
What?
in the short film Rooftop War.
Oh
Rooftop
my
Wars.
gosh.
So I cut down the trailer, so we're gonna watch a little snippet, just some snippet with some music behind it. Amazing. Talk to us about Rooftop Wars.
So I was 18 years old at the time, and I was trying to get into acting and modeling when I was 14, and just jobs weren't really coming in for acting, but I was getting a lot more for modeling. Whether it was like, I think I was in a billboard for Tampico. I don't know if you guys got to dig deep and find it, but there's a billboard of me that was on bus stops everywhere. It was only supposed to be in like Milwaukee or Minnesota, but then it ended up spreading all over the nation. Was like an anti-pregnancy type of thing. Like, you shouldn't have kids when you're young, when you're technically a kid. And it's pretty much me as a teenager struggling to hold a baby, and the baby's like 3 feet tall. Like, it's just a gigantic baby, and it's hilarious because all my friends would take photos and send it to. I was like, it's in Chicago, damn it. But I ended up getting the role for Rooftop Wars. It was gonna be my like last acting job because I was gonna start getting busy. And he's like, I ended up getting the job before I even started giving my monologue. He's like, you're just the look. You're perfect. I got you. I was like, oh, cool. So I ended up working with pretty much all these kids, and I'm in a sense like gang leader. I still have a good heart, but I'm the gang leader trying to get this kid to come with me. And we ended up having this gang war on a rooftop wars. And dude, that was the most fun shoot I've ever had, but also the most painful because it was summer, so it's like 90-some degrees in Chicago, and we're on a roof, so it's just sun. Plus, it's on a roof, like a factory roof, so the factory roofs are actually silver, so they're reflective.
Wow.
So I'm wearing, though you see me in a Dago, I'm in a Dago tee the whole time, or white beat, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm in a Dago tee the whole time, and the next day I ended up going home shivering, but I'm hot as hell. Like, I have this extreme fever, but I'm shivering cold. And I ended up going to the hospital, and they're like, oh, you have sun poisoning. You ended up getting burnt that bad by the sun because you were out for like I think I was out for 10 hours or 12 hours straight in the sun. And since I was 18 years old, I wasn't a child anymore, so I was able to do more in the acting world. I think when you're under 18, you can only work, I think, so many hours in a day. So I was just out there filming, and I had to miss a couple shoots, which really sucked. But yeah, man, I got burnt from that movie, but it was awesome. It was such a good time. I still talk to some of those kids today, which is, again, I was 18, so what is that, 8 years ago?
Yeah. Wow. 2010 is when it came out. So is acting something that you would do again, maybe in your future still?
I want to. That's something I've always wanted to do. Again, my role models are people on TV. So I've always wanted to do something like that, where I do believe I have a decently fun personality, and I am pretty just open. So a lot of improv stuff, and a lot of just like, screw it, let me give a funny or serious scene. I'm more than happy to do it. So anytime it comes to camera work, even when I was in high school, I would shoot little videos for my classes, whether it's for driver's ed or for science or whatever the case may be. I would shoot little videos and act out the project instead of writing a paper or doing this big, slideshow. I would just film it myself. The only problem was I had to film everything in order because I had the little VHS cameras back in the day. And I obviously didn't have the technology back in the day to cut and edit. So if I messed up, I had to rewind, delete it, and then just copy over it. We had no choice but to go in order. So if the sun went down, we're like, damn it, we have to come back tomorrow. So and I was real picky because I was pretty much getting ready at the time to go to film school. I wanted to be an actor and possibly a director for some of the stuff because I was choreographing a lot of things. But then I ended up going to school for something else.
That's how me and Vincent met. Well, we met in high school in video class.
Yeah. Well, our relationship began when he stole a girl from me. So that's actually what happened.
Happy Valentine's Day, by the way.
We liked the same girl, but he had better
Yeah.
grades than I did. So, and then, so you know, I knew who he was, and I kind of stared at him across the class. And then the next year, we sat next to each other, I think, in video production, and started shooting together. But everything that you were saying right now made me wonder: is fighting maybe a means to an end for you? Are you wanting to kind of gain the reputation and, you know, have a good solid career being the fighting guy, and then somewhere down the road you're like the next Michael Jai White and you're in all these movies? Or do you just is the full future fighting and, you know, I'm kind of done with acting?
No, man, it'd be awesome to like a Michael J. White or The Rock or even Ronda Rousey, doing certain things where I get to expand my talents somewhere else and really do something different. Again, The Rock is right now the biggest blockbuster maker in the world right now. He can make Rampage 10 times and a lot of people are still gonna watch it. So it's crazy that from people starting off so small with nothing, fighting gave them the opportunity not just to make it out of their neighborhood, but to fight in front of a bunch of people and then get such an influence that they've moved over to acting, they moved over to wrestling, they moved over to video games and this and that. That's actually two of my biggest goals still, is to be in a video game and to be made into an action figure. So those are my two big things. But I've always wanted to be on TV and do little things and talk to people, whether it's for comedy or whether it's for something serious or if I'm trying to actually give speeches or whatever the case may be. But I like being in front of the camera. I like having fun.
So if we get signed to Netflix, we're planning big things right now. If we sell a series to Netflix, can we count on you to be make an appearance as an actor at some point?
I'm down with that. I'm always down to figure that out.
Awesome.
I'll give you my manager's number. No, no, man, that'd be freaking awesome. That's one of the things that's like I try to make these connections with people. That's like you never know what's gonna happen. I'm not saying I'm trying to benefit off these people, but if we can benefit off each other, that's the best case scenario.
Oh yeah.
That's really what I'm always trying to do, and then see where it goes from there. So I'm telling you, I'm still 100% trying to go to LA to make a video or videos to you guys.
Oh yeah, definitely. We'll go that way too, because we're like 4 hours from LA. I mean, when you're in California, it kind of seems like it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
But we'll be going that way too whenever you're able.
So I'm not from California, I'm from Chicago, so I don't know anything about Cali. And I was training with TJ Dillashaw, getting him ready for Cody Garbrandt 1. And he's like, "Oh, I got you a place. You're staying in Palm Springs." I was like, "Okay, cool. Where's your gym?" He's like, "Oh, it's in Anaheim. It's a little south of LA." I go, "Okay, how far is that? Like half an hour, 40 minutes?" He goes, "Oh, it's 2 hours away." I go, "What?" Yeah, it's 2 hours away and practices at 10 in the morning, so you have to leave at 8 just to make it there in time. I was like, crap. All right, cool. Like, I'm going to bring all my stuff with me. So my friend didn't tell me, the guy I was staying with, that he had a Challenger and that obviously I'd be paying for gas. So he has a V6 Challenger, and I'm driving 2 to 3 hours because you already know LA traffic, 2 to 3 hours every single day there, and then 2 to 3 hours every single day back. So I would leave at 8 in the morning after a morning run. And I'm in training camp as well. I'm leaving at 8 in the morning to go to practice at 10. Then we'd have 3 practices overall. I think it was like 10, 2, and I think the last one was at 8. But I wasn't going to drive back home, in between those hours. So I would literally wait at the local gas station because they had a microwave and end up just putting my meals in the microwave and just chilling there until the next practice came. And then at 10 at night, I would drive all the way home, get home at midnight, and then repeat the cycle.
Oh man,
That sucked. It was a good time. It was a good time.
Yeah, that's what it's like, because our experience over here isn't like that either. We live in an area where like everything's 10 minutes away or whatever. So when we go to LA, it's kind of like a wake up call too, because like I said, I think a lot of people outside of California kind of clump it all together. But LA is a totally different world from even where we're at. So yeah, but it's funny to hear that, because I think a lot of people, I mean, I know I do, when you hear someone's a UFC fighter and he's on TV and everything, you think, man, he's in a mansion, he's got it made, someone's flying him out. And to hear that you go through these struggles too, it's like listening to like Sylvester Stallone story kind of. It's like, man, he's a real person. He's still struggling too.
Dude, it's one, my brother calls me a Jew because I never spend my money. Like, I'm one of those guys that I can have the money to buy almost anything at the grocery store without like a serious problem. But I'm always like, do I need that? I can just, so like I'm one of those shoppers type of things. Like you're such a Jew. I was like, oh come on, leave it alone. But it's funny that damn, I just lost where I was going with it. What were we talking about?
Oh, we're just talking about how I think it's really cool to have the insight of how you still have your struggles, even being in the UFC. And
So when I made the Inside Team Shorty, my very first episode was the truth about MMA. And I gave, just a quick, aspects of what a lot of people don't see past social media, what's behind the scenes. And one of my good friends on American Top Team that I train with, and I'm still not going to say his name, I kind of gave him a little shout out, without saying his name in the video. I was like, man, everyone thinks UFC fighters are millionaires. I mean, I had 2 belts for Titan FC. At the time when I won the belt, everyone's like, oh, you're a millionaire. That's awesome. I go, dude, my belt was $3,000 to make. That belt is worth more than my paycheck that I used to win the fight. So I'm not making any money. Actually, one of my fights, I broke my hand, tore my MCL, and I didn't fight for 6 months. I made, I think, $5,000 after all the taxes and after all the like coaches' fees. I made $5,000 for 6 months, and I didn't fight or work. So it's like, yeah, we're not making any money. Back to the fighter, he does have a decent amount of kids, and he has a family, he has a life. He fights, and I believe he still works at Applebee's. You're a professional UFC fighter that works at Applebee's. Like I can just imagine that. It was like, hi, can I take your order? It's like, oh, hey, aren't you this person? Yes, I am. So would you like fries with that? So it's crazy because that's really what it is. It's the nature of the sport.
It's TJ, right?
Dude, so TJ's so popular right now. I think even before he regained the belt, he's so popular right now that he can live 100% off of the sponsors.
Nice.
Like, that's how well. Even like he just started up his own online academy. Like the numbers he told me is ridiculous. Like just the influence this guy has. Like I hope one day, like, oh, that'd be great. But it's just crazy that again, I live in a different aspect compared to TJ and some of these other guys that have started off decently fine and now are crazy famous. Me, I'm always trying to get back, so I'm never expecting to be a multimillionaire because I know most of my money's going to go somewhere else.
Well, I shared a video with Vincent, I think yesterday, and it's kind of on topic, kind of off, but it was about the Beatles, and it was about how it was John Lennon talking about how he and Paul McCartney weren't even millionaires, and how Ringo and George Harrison were penniless. Yeah, and this is like after their career, like at the end of their career, and they were like, they're known for like having like the most sales ever, the most like number ones ever and everything. And they're talking about like, yeah, like a lot of people made money off the Beatles, but I mean it wasn't really us that whole time. And like it was at the end of their career they started their own label so that they can try and like take control and have all that.
Dude, it's crazy. And the thing is, like, most people, musicians, artists, fighters especially, we're not educated. Like, it's usually our last resort out of the neighborhood is what I like to say. So, for example, Mike Tyson with the Don King stuff, he lost millions of dollars because he was being outsmarted, whatever, by someone else. Look at, again, I bring up Manny Pacquiao. I love the guy. He was starting off fresh in the States and was like, where's all my money going? Like, I know I'm supposed to be making more money, but I don't know why I'm not. And I know where people are stealing money from him. And given he's trust me when I say he's nice, he's definitely too nice. But people were stealing money from him. So the money he ended up getting back from all these people, even in his last fight against Adrian Broner, in the video series, he has people come out to see him run. Like, literally just running the track that he does every single day. People come every single day, and he will give them a bag of whatever, sometimes a bag of money. Like, that's how much money this man has now because of how eventually he's like, all right, I need to figure this out and do all this. He's like, I grew up poor. I grew up literally in a sheet metal house. I'm fine. So he's just like, here, take it. Go ahead, take it. Take it. Every single person that comes to see him train, he just gives out money. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make people earn it, but it's still cool to hopefully one day be able to get that type of opportunity. And that's why, again, I always wear my gear. I'm probably looking like the bum wearing the same stuff every single day, but I'm always trying to show off my stuff because hopefully it could help, change someone's life.
Let me get back to this presentation. Let's skip this. All right. This photo here. Talk to us about this.
This is a funny one. So, and I say this story all the time. So when it comes to training with anyone, obviously you want to go like 70, 80%, depending on how hard they're going with you. This is the opposite when you train with TJ Dillashaw. So when you train with him, he's trying to kill you. He doesn't want to lose. He hates losing. He hates even coming close to losing. As you see with the Cejudo fight, like whether it's early stoppage or not, he's obviously very, very butthurt about it. So it's the fact of one day he's going with 2 UFC fighters. I've already been training with him for about a month, and I had a small little shiner from I think it was just like a nice right hand that landed, and I did my 3 rounds with him in his last sparring day, and then he goes with 2 UFC fighters, and he's just demolishing them. I mean, it was just bad. And the last round, he's demolishing this guy that it was just one of those things where you're just like, hey man, could you just take that guy out? I'll step in, because it's not helping that guy, and it's definitely not helping TJ. So the last 3 minutes left, I go in there for TJ's last sparring round, and Dwayne, for the last 30 seconds, like, Shorty, just play defense. Let TJ just attack and finish off the camp strong, which I, like, in my head was like, what? he's wearing puffies, which are only 7-ounce gloves, and he's just swinging haymakers because he knows I'm not trying to attack. And after you've trained with somebody so long, you kind of learn the ins and outs. I was ducking and doing all the things I needed to do. But what he did is his little famous fake the jab, go to the single, and then come up with an uppercut. Dude, I had to play defense, and I had no choice but to bite on it. So I ended up getting just this huge shiner because the glove fit exactly where my black eye was, and it just poofed up. And the funny thing was, I don't know if you guys have the photo, but later on that day, that same sparring session, Curtis Razor Blades, UFC heavyweight, ended up having a black eye as well. So we ended up taking a photo side by side. Like, we're twins.
I saw that one.
Nice. All right, and let's talk about your upcoming fight.
So I'm fighting for Brave 22 in the Philippines, March 15th. And I'm telling you, the guy I'm fighting, because he's not known, doesn't mean he's not a phenomenal fighter. He's a Bellator veteran. He's beaten an IMUF world champ, which I am a 2-time IMUF world champ. So I'm excited to see how he compares to me. And he's a guy that is really looking for the spotlight. And technically, I'm the opportunity. So there's a lot of pressure on me from one coming off of the loss, trying to get back in the win column, but not just get back in the win column against someone, but someone who's extraordinary and someone extraordinarily hungry. So this guy's come to be a force to be reckoned with, and I'm excited about it because, again, he is a Jiu-Jitsu world champ. He has multiple belts. A lot of people are like, oh, he hasn't been tested yet. I'm his first real test, and I'm excited to see how it turns out.
Nice. Well, if people want to check it out, we'll put the link in the description when the video comes out, the link to Brave, so they can check that out. And then, obviously, Shorty or TeamShorty.com for the merch.
Yeah, man. Again, 50% of all the proceeds go to the kids in my gym so they can stay off the streets and, just try their best to train and then just do something different. Whether it be fighting or not, hopefully it gives them some type of sense of responsibility to get the confidence to do what they want to do.
You know what? I'm not sure if, because you see us create stuff on YouTube, I don't know if you had anything you wanted to ask us maybe, video, YouTube-wise or anything. Now that we're coming down to an end, if you had any questions for us.
No, I think the biggest thing, and I know actually the guys at MMA On Point sent me like a little tutorial video. I do want to do a podcast like this to where I can film, record, and do something where I'm interviewing fighters like myself or interviewing some really important people and going, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Nothing too long, but something that's quick and straight to the point, but educational enough to where people are learning. But or people are at least learning the real side of things, But it's something that eventually, I mean, you guys could, if you have video clips or something. But yeah, man, it's something I've always wanted to do is create a podcast. Actually, I'm trademarking the name now, but so people don't copyright this. But me and my nutritionist want to make a YouTube series, pretty much a podcast series called Emotionally Unstable. And he's Big Spoon, I'm Little Spoon. Like that's just how we are. Like emotionally, we're just those butt buddies like you two guys are. Like we're just those butt buddies that can laugh and talk about anything. And like I was telling you, he yelled at me on Monday because I knew he was going to yell at me. If I need him to yell at me, he's going to do it. He had a blast doing it. I hated it, but it's one of those things that he's so smart in his side of the field when it comes to nutrition and working with fighters. He worked with Johnny Hendricks, Anthony Pettis, John Jones, so myself, whether you count me as a fighter or not, so many more. So, and then myself with coming from the hood and doing my thing and seeing where the world takes me next. So it's an adventure, but I want to give different aspects about stuff. And it's actually my last Inside Team Shorty episode was him and I just talking about the Cejudo fight, him making weight, same thing with TJ making weight before they fought. And it's an adventure, but it's something different and something that I want to put out to the fans. If Joe Rogan can do it, then why can't I do it?
Exactly. No, yeah, I think it'd be cool to have the fighter input on like anything that has to do with like health, talking to other fighters, any of that kind of stuff. I think that's interesting.
Well, me, I try my best to look at different points of views too, not just like, oh, because I do this is the way it works. It goes, yeah, but it's worked other ways for other people. So I try my best to get different aspects. Actually, one of my YouTube episodes of Inside Team Shorty, and funny things, I made it up on the spot. None of my stuff is scripted. I just kind of put like bullet points. I'm like, all right, let's see where it goes from here. I interviewed two fighters in like I think they're in LFA, slowly coming up. And I go, what's something you wish you would have changed when you first started MMA? Like, what's something you wish you would have done then instead of now realizing and going, oh, man, I should have done this a long time ago. So I answered that question physically, or asked that question about physical, like, hey, man, what's something physically you would have changed back in the day that now you started doing and you wish you could have done it back then? People are like, man, I wish I would have ran more. Man, I wish I would have swallowed my pride and done more jiu-jitsu matches because I wasn't good at jiu-jitsu. And now I'm like, man, I really need to catch up. So the different aspects. And now the big thing, the mental side. What's something you would have changed mentally back in the day compared to now what you're doing? Me back in the day, personally, my high school sucked when it comes to wrestling. Everyone mentally was like, you're facing a ranked kid. He did this. He's been wrestling for years. You're going to lose. It's like, oh, thanks, guys. I appreciate the support. But that's how my high school was. And we always overlooked everything, and it ended up being self-sabotage. By the time we got in there, we lost before we even stepped on the mat. So what changed my mentality now that I'm winning, and why couldn't I have changed it back in the day? So it's one of those things that I wish I would have done that back in the day, and that's what I'm trying to instill in people now. So it gives different aspects of life, and I'm trying to be more mental. It might not be the most entertaining thing in the world, but it's something that's definitely essential.
Beautiful. I'm crying because of your T-shirt donation story. I like it.
I appreciate it. At least someone's crying for me today. That's good.
All right. Anything else, Chent?
I just want to say thanks again because, I mean, the way that our relationship started was you just helping us out and plugging our stuff and constantly posting stuff with our merch and shouting us out. And it really gave us a boost and just made us look more legit having your name attached to ours. So just thank you.
No problem, man. I'm more than happy to help. Me and the Latinos coming up. Trust me, I understand it. I understand it. And that's also why I say, like, call me Shorty, because everyone's like, oh, hey, what's up, Jose or Jose? And I'm just like, dude, you say that in my neighborhood, everyone turns around. Like, just call me Shorty, So I understand the struggle, man. So I'm happy to help if I can. And I think that's my biggest phrase. If I can, I will. If I can't, then sadly, I can't.
Yeah, well, we're going to be following on social media like the fans we are, and we're hoping that we could do a collab soon. I think that'd be awesome.
Let's set something up. Hopefully in like April, May. Trust me, I'm trying to travel and do my thing and just have some fun along the way.
Nice.
Thank you very much, Shorty. We'll leave all your links and everything at the end so people can check you out. See you later, man.
Appreciate it, guys. Take care of yourselves.
Later.
Awesome.
Are we still running on this? Do we say like goodbye to the viewers or?
Oh, yeah. Let's. Pauls, is this still running?
Yeah. We didn't have to do this last time.
What do you want? What do you think? I'll let you close it out. Go ahead.
Goodbye.
And that was the show. Just close it.